Dominique, you are to break agreement with Lupus, the demon called Lucas. You are to break that agreement and break that covenant and rebuke it in the name of Yahushua and send it back to whence it had came. Nobody lived one day. This is what y'all don't know. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. She said, this is what y'all don't know. Ain't nobody lived one day yet. Welcome all to Mashiach's assembly. Oh, look at the babies, Aja babies in the background. Shalom, little ones. Shalom. Y'all know Uncle Yeshua love the babies, boy. Y'all won't, if y'all don't know, y'all will find out. I love the babies. All of y'all comments. So the last video, they stopped all of y'all guys' comments. They literally did not like us teaching about the what was the last lesson about? About those wicked people talking about rape. Oh my goodness, they did not like that. They stopped all of you guys' comments. So all right, let's go. Oh, it's gonna be a deep one, guys. This is a lot. This is a lot. It's gonna have some haters out there. I can only imagine. But our comment section be popping, but they be trying to block our comment. We ain't talking about the rapists, so they probably gonna leave us alone this time. We ain't trying to stop people from raping little girls and stuff like that. So they're going to leave our comments and let us just flow. They're going to let us have a comment party this time, which is whatever, man. It is what it is. Okay, so we're going to read. We're going back to the beginning. We're going back to the garden, y'all. We're going back to Bereshit. All right, Genesis. We're going back to the garden. I got a whole series coming. It's called Back to the Garden. Uncle Yeshua is going back to the garden. That's where we are all. Here come the Ruach. He come already. That's where we are all called to go back to the garden. What you need to understand is Yah wants us all to come home. Back to the garden. Bereshit. Back to Eden. The first land that he created. The first, who was that I was speaking with that? Who was I was just talking to about that? One of y'all. I don't know if it was Batya, if it was Anaya, I don't know. Somebody. I don't know who it was. Somebody I was talking to about that. So he wants us to go back to Eden, back home, to the original covenant. Yah made a covenant with us when he created us in the garden. He made a covenant with us, okay? Now, because Adam and Hava, foolish selves, brought sin into the world, let me make it correctly. Sorry, got to do it correct. Hava, Eve, brought sin into the world, and Adam, foolish weak butt, followed after her. Brown nosing. Okay? He wasn't man enough to stand up and check his woman and save salvation for all of us all. Okay, so I gotta keep it 100, keep it funky, like they say, right? We gotta keep it funky. So Hava brought sin into the world. Now, when Hava in weak Adam brought this sin into the world, that's when Yah had to make an amendment to his original covenant. What is called a compromise. He compromised with us. I guess instead of just destroying us altogether, okay? Right. So what Yah has been calling me to do, which I've been doing it for a while now, but he's also want all of us to do. He wants us to come back to the garden. He wants us to come back to the original covenant that he made with his creation when he created us. Not his compromises, not what came after sin was brought into the world. Not what came after that. What was before sin was born into the world. See, what we are so comfortable with doing, right? We're so comfortable with all the pleasures of the world that we'd rather deal with Yah's compromises, right? That he made after sin was brought into the world. Nobody really wants to go back to the garden because guess what? When you go back to the garden, You have to keep the law that he created, which was the original law, what he said from Bereshit 1:1, when he created man and put him in the midst of the garden. And he said, what? That tree of these fruits, all these shall you eat, right? He gave us dietary. He gave us instructions, right? He told us do not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It was simplicity. We wasn't even supposed to ever die in this physical existence.
Right.
Our bodies weren't even supposed to decay. That's after the sin. Okay? So your uncle, Yeshua, is going back to the garden. Now, all of you don't have to, thank you, y'all. All of you don't have to do all of the stringent things that I am doing to get back into the garden, as far as dietary as well, all the covenants, right? Because we have grace and mercy, right? You ain't supposed to now, you're supposed to still keep the dietary laws, but you don't all have to. But what he put in my heart, all you leaders have to, all you so-called leaders, shepherds, MOREHS, ministers, pastors, all y'all need to be going back to the garden. Because how can you not go back to the garden? How can you lead his sheep? How can you shepherd his people and you ain't even in the garden? You're responsible. You're sitting up there, you're preaching from your, I got me one. You're preaching from these pulpits, right? You're preaching from these podiums, right? You're preaching from your chairs and all your subscribers, right? Your 100,000. You preach with all these ministries. You got all these ministers, all these different places, right? And you're doing it with a stomach full of dying, putrefying, decaying flesh and blood. Your stomach is full of dying, it's decaying flesh and blood. No, putrefying flesh and blood. That your immune system and your digestive system is trying to convert all of these toxins and doing all this stuff. It can't even clean the cells of your body and regenerate itself because it's full of digestion process. And then you're eating 3 meals a day, and so your body never even completes full digestion. And then your body have to convert all those toxins from those pies. He said the blood, the soul, the blood, the soul is in the blood. You are eating flesh and blood. You're eating your brothers and sisters. I ain't talking to y'all. I'm talking to the elders right now. Because I'm starting with them. I'm talking to the so-called leaders, these elders, these MOREHS, these pastors, right? These shepherds. Talking to y'all first. So you're leading these people with a stomach full of dying flesh. Your temple ain't even pure. Your temple ain't clean. What does they say about the temple? Your temple needs to be clean. Your temple needs to be purified. You need to be going back to the garden. I don't care about the sheep. We're called to lead the sheep. He has grace and mercy, but too much is given, much is required. What did he say? Be careful if you want to become a teacher, right? You know why? He said, because you're held to a different standard. There's different laws governing you. That's why y'all got these spirits. But guess what? I'm not supposed to call them spirits anymore. I'm supposed to call them what they is, right? Y'all Lena and Anaya? Demons. Y'all got demons over y'all. That's why these demons are able to come over y'all. And you get into your feelings and get jealous and all this stuff because your temple ain't pure. Hasatan knows. He ain't a fool. He laughing at you. But you go eat your beef brisket, blood all porn. And guess who's making the beef? Guess who's preparing your flesh and blood? The beast system. You don't even own the cattle. You don't even own the freaking cow who you about to slaughter to eat your brother and sister. You don't own it. You didn't raise Bessie in the backyard. You didn't raise her. You didn't raise her with love and ahava and treating her nice and feeding her organic grains and food and she ain't stressed out and all that. And if you did slaughter her, you did it when she couldn't see it. Now, if you was truly had the temple of the Most High Yah going back to the garden, you couldn't slaughter her. Because you would see her as your family. You see the difference? If you really raise Bessie, right? When it's time your stomach get hungry, you'd be like, you know what? I can't kill Bessie. That's our family. I'm petting her and loving her. She loving her. These are brothers and sisters. You stupid people. I'm sorry, you fools. So pardon me, y'all. I'm getting upset. This is serious. Pardon me, y'all. That's why he needed me to stand so Hasatan won't attack me. I'm going to explain this later. Okay? You fools. These are our brothers and sisters. Okay? So if you had the true heart of Hamashiach, you wouldn't kill him anyway. You know what you'll say? You'd be like, man, guess what your children will say? See, y'all got her little babies. You know what they would say? Mommy, daddy, y'all gonna kill Bessie? While we were raised with her. They would look at you like you're a murderer. They would look at you like, what? Like, it's not scriptural. Do you understand? It's not of Hamashiach. So guess what you would say if you had the spirit of Hamashiach? If y'all was really inside you, you'd be like, you know what? I can't kill Bessie. Well, let's just grow these vegetables and these fruits and these herbs and stuff that we got growing from Yah's earth. Just make a big meal like the garden. Let's just go back to the garden. Let's just go back to before sin was brought into the world. Not Yah's compromise, his original covenant. Original covenant for us. His original law that he had for us. That he said we will live forever. Until we brought sin in the world, he said, now you will die. You will go back to the earth, the dirt that you came from. And then he compromised later and even shortened that lifespan because we're so wicked. We was living 900. Nobody lived to be 1,000. Nobody lived one day. This is what y'all don't know. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. He said, this is what y'all don't know. Ain't nobody lived one day yet. Not one day. He told Adam, for that you shall surely die if you eat from it. But y'all don't know, y'all don't got the wisdom. Y'all don't know that he died. You know why? Because 1,000 years is as to one day to the Most High. And how long did Adam live? 900 and something, 50 something years. Anybody could say it if y'all got the right number. But it wasn't one day. He didn't live one more day. Because y'all said if you eat for it, you shall surely die. But y'all don't have the wisdom to even see. Y'all don't have the revelation. He never let Adam live one day. None of us have lived one day. And you won't live one day. Y'all ain't playing. Told y'all it's going to be one. We're going in today. 930. Thank you, Koala, y'all. 930 years. He ain't lived not one day. He said you shall surely die. But in our carnal mind, we look like, well, y'all said he'll die. But he didn't die, you fools. He did die. He lived not one day after that. Took him out the garden. Banished him. Put cherubims on each side. So y'all ain't getting back in the garden. And then he said to the Malaks, look, he's now become as one of us, knowing good and evil. If I don't destroy him now, he'll live forever if I let him stay in this garden, because he'll eat from the tree of life and he'll live forever. So now I'm going to banish him from the garden. You'll never get back. But oh, he wants us to come back. He wants you to come back. Now to all the babies, to all y'all just awakening, that's on y'all. Y'all take it as you may. If you ain't trying to be a leader, ain't trying to be a moreh, ain't trying to be a shepherd, ain't trying to lead the flock, ain't trying to do all that, then do as you may. He has grace and mercy over you. But I'll tell you, limit. I'll tell you this in the flesh, in the world. Stop eating red meat. If you want, eat chicken, turkey. See, it's all destroyed. It's all contaminated now anyway, but I'm just going to be light on y'all. All right, I'm gonna be light because everyone's at different stages. So I'm not going to have people freaked out and be like, oh, that's too much, that's too much. But this is health. Do you understand what they're doing to the animals? The beast has raised these thank you, Yah, here he come. What you don't understand, if you had your own land, right? Like Pastor Darwin, and you grew your own cows and your chickens and all that, and you feed them organically, and you're not torturing them, right? And they're not stressing and dying and seeing the next one dying and mental, physical, and spiritual torture. They're not ingesting that because you are what you eat. Why do you think you're so stressed out? Why do you think you got hypertension, high blood pressure, stress, anxiety, all these different demons? Because that's what they are. Because those are all inside of those animals for what they did to them. I got a lesson coming. I got this thing broken down. When you see it, you're going to I want to see you make a decision what you're going to do after you see it. after you see what they do to them live in action. Then tell me what you're going to do. I need to turn this fan because it's on. Y'all can turn up the temperature in here. Okay? So then I want you to see, but that's coming later. So the beast has raised these animals. The beast got them in their slaughterhouses. They are raising them in the most disgusting filth of death. These animals are screaming out. They're crying. They're screaming. They're seeing their mother killed, their father killed. They're tortured. They're all this stuff. And then you go over there and you eat that same flesh, and the life is in the blood. You eat all of that fear, all of that anxiety, all of those toxins, all of it. You ingested all into your DNA. When the Father didn't even create you for that. That ain't his creation. That ain't his original covenant. Go to Bereshit 1:1 and show me where he said it at. Show me. Before sin was born into the world. Show me MOREHS. Show me the elders. Okay? That ain't his original covenant. So they take this animal, little chickens, babies. I mean, they just, same thing they did to us. The same thing they did to our brothers and sisters with other animals is the same thing they did to us. They are even raping these animals. That's how wicked this is. Y'all don't even know that. They are even having sex with these animals. That's the crazy part that y'all don't know. This is the serpent seed that is doing this. Understand something. So don't think I'm talking about these are white people. Yes, these people appear to be white. They have the white skin like Yah's white children as well. They just share that, and that's coming out in this lesson as well. But these ain't Yah's children. These are Hasatan's children, okay? Okay, so they are doing all the abominable acts that they did in Sodom and Gomorrah. Nothing new under the sun. He said, as in the days of Noah, so shall the coming of the son of Yahshua be, of the son of Yahuwah be. Just these days and times. There's nothing left uncontaminated. So what they do, hold on, let me check myself. Okay, I'm standing, I should be all right. So what they do is they inject, first of all, the conditions. They crammed on top of each other. They're seeing each other dying. They got sores and boils, and they'll come by and jab the sore, and this pus will just spread everywhere. They just blood, feces, just the most inhumane conditions, exactly what they did to us. Everything they did to us is what they're doing to them, our brothers and sisters, right? So then they inject them with all type of toxins. You know, the jab, they jab them with all type of stuff to prolong, to make them fatter and fatter so you get more money off of them. Okay? All type of toxins. And what do y'all say? You ain't supposed to what? Introduce none of that into your body. Is that what Yah says, or do he not say that? Oh, y'all don't have accountable today. It's going down today. Do he not say that? Okay, so they inject them with all these poisons. So while you sitting up there worried about the jab juice, right, and you worry about all that other stuff, it's already in your food because they already inject the animal that you ingesting. Okay, so they inject them with all these toxins and poisons, right? Then they take them to the slaughterhouse, right? Then they abuse them and they're screaming, and you can hear them. When you watch the video I'll make, when I show you, when you hear them, they sound human. They sound human. Their cries and screams, they sound human. It's the saddest, disgusting thing to ever see. I would never in my life ingest another one of my brothers and sisters again. How can I after y'all showed me? Okay, so then as they're screaming, then it's done. And a lot of them don't die. Oh my God, so disgusting. They continue to come back later and they're hanging and they still chop them and stab them and kick them and do all this stuff, and they still ain't dead. They come back later and they finally die, right? Then they take them and it's blood and guts and juice everywhere. They take it and scrap it all up and throw it into this thing, and it grinds it, and they do all this stuff in the teeth and the eyes and fingernails, and it's just the nastiest concoction, right? And then they take all this mess, right? And then they package it up into a facility, right? And they put it through the conveyor belts and everything, and they package it, and they do all this, then they put more stuff in it called preservatives to preserve it so it doesn't go bad before it can get to the supermarket, before you see it. So now they pump it with a million other type of toxins and only y'all knows what else they putting into all of this stuff, right? And then they finally get to, I'm fast forwarding, because I'm gonna do a lesson. You're gonna see it. You make your own decision. Okay, so then they take it and they put it all that, and then once they get it ready, when you go into your supermarket, you walk down the aisle, and I'm gonna show you this in the lesson. You walk down the aisle and you see all these legs and beef briskets and what we like, thighs, and if we're talking chicken, and but you see it in the package, and then I'm gonna show you in the video. Do you see the blood in there? You see the blood in it when you hold it up. You see the blood when you cook it, right? That blood come out. What did y'all tell you? What did he say? We ain't supposed to eat no flesh and blood. Did he say we are not supposed to eat the blood? Did he or did he not?
He did.
Thank you. Thank you. You're lying to yourself. You looking at the package and you see the blood in the package. You see it when you cook it. You see it when you cook the chicken, the blood comes out first, and you ignore it and you boil it, and all the blood is still in the juice. That's that juice that you like. That juice that'll taste good when you put all the seasoning. You season up the blood. But y'all said don't eat the blood. The serpent's seed eat the blood. But they trick y'all's children. And they get us with convenience. The law of the flesh, the law of not conquering the diet. That's the biggest stronghold on the existence of mankind, is the diet. You can conquer everything else. Tell somebody stop eating chicken. They'll sit up there, holy as all outdoors. Tell them to stop eating this, stop eating that. Oh, they'll please y'all in every other way. But that one, yeah, that's the hard one. Conquering the flesh, the diet. Well, I can say I'm a master over this temple, the Levitical priesthood. How are you a kingdom of priests? How are you a Levitical priest? How are you the priest under the order of Melchizedek, right? But you can't master your temple. You hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. That's what Yahushua call you. You can't even master the temple. You can't say no to your stomach. I said no to the stomach. You think I don't like a good sirloin steak? You think I don't like some A1 sauce on it with some potatoes and all that? You think I don't want some chicken? I like chicken breast. It's my favorite. Some hot sauce. I'll take rip that breast so I get the good one. Some ketchup. I dip the little chicken in ketchup sometime, put some hot. You think I don't like all that? I have to die to it because I'm going back to my Father's original covenant. I'm trying to please the Father. You're trying to please your stomach. You're trying to please your desire. You're trying to please your flesh. But you're preaching all these other sermons. You're preaching all this other word, but you're ignoring that, right? You're ignoring that. Ain't nobody want to bring that up. Don't nobody want to talk about that. Oh, his uncle here. His son is here. His son is here. And he come to expose it all. Expose you all. And I'm still talking to the leaders. I'm not talking to the babies. I ain't talking to y'all. Y'all gonna get later on. If y'all want to decide, y'all decide. That's up to y'all. But these leaders, too much is given, much is required. You're held to a different standard, morehe, teacher, pastor, leader. And y'all, I watched the program where these brothers brought it out, and these brothers broke it down, and I'm going to share their stuff. I saved it to my hard drive. They broke it down, the genetic stuff, everything is in our system, and the pH stuff, all these different things, processes that happen to our body when we do eat it and don't eat it. They went in. And you know what the leader of that ministry said? After all this information, and these were brothers, young brothers too, they went in. He said, well, I was good for y'all, but I ain't giving up my chicken. And he got 50,000 subscribers, get 3,000 views every video. I'm gonna reveal them later. because they are going to get revealed and exposed later, but I have to reach out to them one by one. I have instructions from the Father of what I'm to do, and I to do it the way the Father says it. So you all know who it is later, and it's what he do. I already know what he gonna do. See, the Father, one thing y'all gotta understand, I know what's going on. I can know, I see the spirit, I see the demon. He told me don't say spirits no more. I see the demons that are over people. He told me stop calling them spirits, call them what they are, demons, so people can get the real attribute of it. Because if I say spirits, it sounds too watered down. When I say you see spirits over people, there's spirits over these leaders, right? But when I say there's demons over these people, that's a whole different effect, ain't it? Whole different effect. So y'all told me, don't call them spirits no more, call them what they are. I want the people to hear exactly what they are. That's why the demons over these people, I see the demons, I already know which ones. Now, some of them, I don't know. Some of them, I'm like, man, I hope they get it right. I hope they repent. But others, I can see. I already know they ain't going to repent. I already can see it. I'm not no fool. I ain't new to this. Been with y'all for 14 years in the fire with y'all. Ain't nothing new to this. My elder called to myself, new guy. I ain't no new guy. That's what you think. Sorry, I'll keep digressing into that, whatever. So, with that being said, I guess y'all wanted to get that out before we get started. Your uncle is going back. I'm back in the garden. I've been there for a minute. I slipped. Thank you, y'all. He wanted me to explain this to you. Because I've been vegan, I was vegan 20 years. But I went with my ex, who y'all see my babies, I was with her. And then I given her another shot again, another try. And we moved together and everything. And now we're married, because you got to understand, marriage is the covenant. So it ain't, I don't care about the beast. The marriage is under Yah. Okay? So we're married, so ain't none of that. I've been celibate for years, right? You know what I mean? 5 years. So I'm a man of Yah. This ain't no. So we living in the same household again. And so now she's making us food, and she'll make like turkey bacon in the morning. And then I'm like, and I used to eat my vegan stuff, and slowly and that's why you have to be very careful who you are around. You have to be stewards over your home, women and men. Be very careful, because they will lead you outside of where you were going, and it'll be slowly. So what I end up doing, at that point, I was vegan for since prison. So I came home 2010, and this was 2018. So that's like 8 years or whatever, right? So at this point, because I was vegan before prison, but I had no choice but to start, I had to survive. So at this point, I'm still vegan 8 years. So she started making the food, and slowly but surely, I'm like, you know what, go ahead. I can eat some turkey bacon. It ain't abomination. It ain't one of the 10 commandments. It ain't in the dietary law. Like, you see, I started making excuses for it. Okay. And then that led to, you don't got no vegan meat. When I make the spaghetti, I got a turkey roll. Let's put the turkey roll in the spaghetti. All right, whatever. So then that led to a whole year of me back eating turkey bacon, back eating turkey ground meat, instead of my vegan stuff that I used to eat to make my spaghetti and stuff, which I do now, right? And I didn't even pay attention, but my stomach started going like this. And you know what made me realize? My little baby girl, Shemaya, that you'll see in the video, she said, Daddy, you got a Mr. Pokey. And she poked my stomach and said, Mr. Pokey, Mr. And I looked down, and I had like a shirt on, like a gym shirt on. And that stomach, I was like, oh, and I'm naturally skinny. So I got this stomach sticking out, and I look pregnant. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, Mr. Pokey, and I try to suck it in, but it's only sucking but so much. I ended up buying a waist belt. It's the funniest thing in the world. I had a waist trainer on. I'm at work, and every time I sit down, the stomach is, now I'm conscious of it. I wasn't even paying attention. But now that she brought it to my attention, and every time I would relax and I'm walking around the house, she'd be like, Mr. Pokey. And I was like, I'm like, this little girl. I'm like, Shmaya, if you don't leave me alone, girl. So now I'm in the gym, and I'm trying to do abs, and I'm trying my best to chop this thing off. But ain't nothing gonna work until I stop eating this flesh and blood. But I don't know this, okay? So now let's fast forward. I'm on my deathbed, which you're going to find out. I'm doing the testimony. After this, the next video that you see that I do will be the testimony of what happened to me, and you will all see it. So it's coming. I'm working on. As soon as we hang up for this Bible study, I'm getting on that, okay? And it will be out for all y'all to see what's wrong with me. So I was on my deathbed. This is November of 2020. I almost died. I had to go to Atlanta for Yarlene and my niece. Okay, just so y'all know, Yarlene is my biological sister, all of y'all. That's my biological sister, okay? And we were separated. We were abandoned by our parents. We were both orphaned. And we separated for about 20 years from one another. And we got back together. But you know, it's just, y'all see in the testimonies documentary, y'all understand all that. So anyway, that's why sometimes when I say Yarlene, it's because, so Yarlene and them told me to come to Atlanta because y'all, I'm gonna save it for the documentary. Y'all told me do not get the surgery here because they are going to kill you. This is what he told me. You won't come off the surgery table, you're going to die, right? So then Yarlene and them was like, you need to come to Atlanta, and we got the Grady Hospital and all these hospitals and everything, Black people doing and everything. So I went to Atlanta, right? I went to Atlanta, but unfortunately, and Yarlene, no, we went there. Yarlene said the other day, you should have got it when you was in Atlanta. I said, I told you, Yarlene told me no. I got there and we got to Grady, and she probably don't remember this, but I don't know if she was there, but I know her daughter was there. It was a gray cloud over the hospital. It was dark. So as soon as we walked up, I looked and your daughter looked at me and she said, and I looked at her and I said, oh my goodness, it was great. It was like a demon was over the hospital waiting for me to come. And I stood there because when you walk, it's when you park the car. Y'all, you know, when you park, and then you have to walk to it, you can see. And I'm like,
right.
And I just stopped in the sidewalk and I'm looking, and y'all said, do not go inside there. And I said, yeah, what? He said, do not. So then that's when I went back, and that's when you told me, okay, y'all got to try this clinic and try this other thing. And I went through the whole thing, went through the clinic, went through everything, met the doctor, talked everything was done. And y'all said, absolutely not. Do not let none of them touch you. You will die if they touch you. And so I had to drive all the way back. Now, the reason why I'm telling this story, because when I was there in Atlanta, is when y'all, right before I left, y'all showed me this documentary of what they're doing to the animals. And y'all, and you know, because I showed you when I got there. That's why it was so fresh. That's why I showed y'all. And from then on, I've been back vegan again. And now I got the understanding. Now he gave me the revelation of going back to the garden, of going back to his original covenant and what they're doing to his children. The animals are his children. They are our brothers and sisters. And they are crying out for us to awaken. They're crying out to us to save them from the serpent's seed, just like everybody else. All the nations, everyone is crying out for us to awaken, to bring salvation back to the world, to the earth, to usher the way for Yahushua to come back. So that's what this is. So I guess y'all wanted you to understand, and for these elders and leaders, because never mind. I'll save it for the lesson. Okay, with that, let's go into this word. Whew. I used to soak meat in lemon, salt, and vinegar to drain on that before I stopped eating. Amen. Life is in the blood. Amen. Shalom. I'm just reading some of the comments, y'all. Okay. To my sister Dominique, who is suffering from the sickness called lupus, we rebuke that sickness in the name of Yahushua. There's nothing that can affect the body. There's nothing. Lupus, go back to where you've come from. Dominique, you are to break agreement with lupus, the demon called lupus. You are to break that agreement and break that covenant and rebuke it in the name of Yahushua and send it back to whence it had came. You are to reach out to the ministry, reach out to the daughters of Zion, email me again so I can connect you. Join the Bible study if you can, because the sisters on here can send you herbs, send you places you can go get these herbs to heal your physical body. Because everything that exists in the physical body, there's a physical thing in this earth that will heal that ailment. That would heal it. Yah's put all healing in the earth where we came from. From the dust we came, every natural mineral and nutrient that's in that earth is within our body. So that same healing that comes from this earth will heal that ailment. And then with your spiritual attainment, you will remove that demon. And there will be no more lupus. I rebuke you, lupus. That's your name. He says, speak the demon's name. Demon lupus. She ain't in agreement with you no more. So Dominique, you're gonna have to start standing in covenant with the Father and rebuking that demon lupus. For all you in the sound of my voice who are suffering from some type of sickness, rebuke that sickness, call its name. Whatever you have, call its name and tell them you are not in covenant with it and that it's unlawful for them to exist within inside of you. Those are the laws of the Shamaim. I was just talking about the laws of heaven. You have the authority to speak to the mountains and it shall move. So you speak to that sickness and you tell it, I'm not in covenant with you. I'm not in agreement with you. So it's unlawful for you to be here. So I rebuke you. So go back to where you have came. And then you started keeping the Father's dietary laws and you start healing your body from the inside out. And all those fake diseases and sicknesses will remove themselves because your body is a living, breathing temple of the Most High Yah. It is only sick because it is defiled. So everybody who has these sicknesses, reach out. You'll be built up. Watch Mashiach's assembly so you can learn. Rebuke them all. Bible study every Tuesday, 8 p.m. We having a Zoom Bible study. I'm gonna put email me for the link. Subscribe to my nephew Dutch Camera Action.
Shema. I'm a lion of the tribe of Shema. 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 Say it again. Shema. Precious chosen people of the Most High. You got that right.
We hope you have a good time watching our videos, and we'll see you in the next video.
And we'll see you in the next video. So like and subscribe.
Our channel.
Yeah.
We are the true Hebrews, the true and real Israelites. We are the true ones that fulfill Bible prophecy and scripture.